and relax. It's Home Alive, hosted by Al Carter.
Good afternoon, KTIB listeners. We welcome to Al Carter Live, broadcasted live Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. direct from the historic KTIB studios in downtown Thibodaux. Al Carter Live focuses on topics and issues near and dear to the heart of our listeners in the entire Southeast Louisiana region. Human interests, local events, current news, and even hot topics are discussed right here on Al Carter Live. If you have any questions or comments, give us a call. That number is 447-6409. 447-6409.
Back and relax. It's Home Alive, hosted by Al Carter.
Now sit back and relax. It's time for Al Carter Live on AM 640 KTIB.
Sit back.
We have today is Go Back Day, Jump Back Day, and we have in our studios two dear friends of ours, William Taylor. Good evening, William.
How are you, sir?
Oh, just doing fantastic. And Lauren Leday. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm doing fine, Al.
Lauren is with the Terrebonne Parish Library, but we're hanging out today. We're doing some nostalgic stuff.
Yeah.
And we wanted to come since she is the master of archives.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That could be a new video game.
Aspiring
The Master of Archives. And William, look, I feel uncomfortable with William sitting on the other side of the microphone and me telling what the weather is today.
Yeah, well, you thought we should feel bad because poor Lauren thinks that archives goes back to '89. You know,
yeah,
so
exactly. I don't know much past 1984.
Since '84.
Yeah.
Oh, we going back, but we going back. We're taking a step way back in time.
Well, real quick, you know that this funny joke about the 1980s that happened on your show. You might remember. Now, I do not have this on that web page, but you might remember one morning. When your show came back to the studio on Tuesdays and Thursdays, there was a couple young ladies on. They were either in high school or Nichols State, and they were doing a play that was around the 1980s, and they told you on the air that they were trying to, they used the term, quote, we needed to do historical research on the 1980s.
And Steel Magnolias.
Yeah, and
that was the show.
I thought you were going to faint, because historical research in the 1980s.
Well, you know, I was listening to one of the stations the other day, and the music starts playing, and I'm like, man, that sounds good. Like easy listening music. Something like easy like Sunday morning, and the guy goes, if you're nostalgic to the 70s and the 80s, come. And I'm like, what do you mean nostalgic to 70s and 80s? And my ears perked up. He said, listen to the oldies of the 70s and the 80s. I'm like, what do you mean the oldies of the 70s and the 80s? I grew up on that music. That is music just happened a couple of days ago.
Right.
Yeah, that was the music at my prom. And I mean, wait a minute. I did graduate in 79, so maybe, I don't know, William. I still refuse to accept the fact that my music is nostalgic. I'm sorry.
Right. I understand.
I'm sorry. I just can't do this. So.
Okay.
But we're talking about today, we got some stuff, folks, for you from KTIB's anniversary will be on Monday. 54 years old. We've got the Saints. Man, the Saints are doing it. The Saints are definitely doing it. So we got a lot of good stuff up. Let me just throw the weather at you right quick. It's 70 degrees, high 73, low 59. Wind east at 12 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, high 73, low 59. You can do some good shopping on tonight. Tomorrow, afternoon thunderstorms, high 78, low 47. Sunday. Now, this is a symbol I've never seen before used, okay? They kind of threw me off on this symbol. Partly cloudy, windy. I guess that's acorns and things.
I believe that is.
That's acorns flying in the wind, okay?
Yeah.
High 58, low 41, so it's getting a little chilly. And Monday, cloudy, high 63, low 50. And then on Tuesday, which is Christmas Day,
yep.
We're going to have a few showers, high 62, low 51. So the showers, don't stress out the showers, because in southeast Louisiana, showers are just liquid snow.
Or liquid sunshine, depending on what time of the year.
Well, we want to make it sweet. We want to look at snow, and so when it falls down, they'll look, it'll look wet, but it's really snowfall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me tell you what I did yesterday. Yesterday it rained. We call it rain, all right?
Almost 4 inches on the west side.
I took all of my plants, because I have a pretty green thumb. I put all my plants out into the rain. Today I had some mums. A couple of days ago, the mums had pretty much died. The blossoms had died. Today I woke up, and the blossoms were coming back. And I think that was because of the healthy rainwater, you know, in spite of Al Gore's
global warming initiatives.
Yeah. They're starting to come back, and I think that has to do. So, folks, you know, I was in a good mood. I was happy. So let's get into it, because y'all, you know, we'll sit down and talk. We'll miss everything here.
I tell you what, let's start off with some samples of some of those great liners we got from our good friend and former employee, Mr. John Rayner. And, folks, this will definitely take you back to the 70s and some of the great intros that we had in KTIB history. Let's hear a bit, Al. It will eventually come, folks. Don't worry. Let's see. And that's assuming. No? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to have, this is live radio, so we have to make a slight adjustment.
Okay. And, well, hey, okay, good, yeah, because I played it on my computer yesterday. What you're about to hear, folks, is from the 72 to 76 range, some of the liner intros that KTIB used to use, both when they were a country station starting in 73 and prior to 73 when they did a variety of music as well. So, and of course, I'll just keep ad-libbing until we get it going.
Well, also, we don't want to let folks and remind folks we are podcasting Al Carter Live. So you can go to alcarterlive.com and catch all of our shows, podcasts, which so far, a lot of folks have gone and downloaded those shows that we have on there. And so if you go get this podcast, you will notice that when you download today's podcast, that when we say we're going to the jingles, immediately the jingles will play. You will not hear any kind of break in here.
Here we go.
We got the first one. All right.
KTIB. Country music. Louisiana country sunshine. KTIB. Hear how good our country sounds. KTIB. Louisiana country. KTIB. Music. Country music. KTIB. Ooh, ah. KTIB. 6:30. KTIB.
High on music, KTIB? Okay.
Most music, most music, most music, most music, KTIB. Ooh, ah, sha, la, 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 KTIB. Remember. KTIB. KTIB.
Man,
Yeah.
this is some neat stuff.
Right, and best of all, it hasn't been heard in over 30 years, and once again, we got to publicly thank Mr. John Rayner, who worked here for, I think, from 72 to 77. I interviewed him when we did the 50th anniversary special back in '03, and he's really good at saving things, a lot better than I am to a large degree. And, oh yeah, it's a real treasure chest that he dug up for us today in terms of liners. But like I said, this station's got a lot of little majesty to it over the years when it signed on in '53. I'll go ahead and tell this story before we get to some of the other bites. When I talked to Leroy Martin, Leroy worked here for 30 years, from '53 to '83, doing a lot of weekend music. He told me a story that originally KTIB probably would have been on years before it was on.
Really?
Here's what happened. There was an FCC rule at the time, that in the 20s, 30s, and 40s into the early 50s, where if there was a radio station, in this case in the Houma Thibodeau area, it was the AM station that's in Houma right now, there was a rule that an existing station could prevent another AM station from coming into its territory.
Really?
In its coverage area if the population was under a certain amount of people. So basically, I was told by Leroy that the original ownership group, Mr. Ferd Block, Ed Jackson, and Sam Larson, they basically had to fight the FCC to try to get a license in this territory to get a station for Thibodeau, and they eventually won. And so they gradually built it up from there and got everything together. See, the original tower was not where it is now near the Assumption Parish line. It was near the Lafourche-Terrebonne line off the Shriever Highway as a 500-watt station. On AM 630, as you heard in some of the liners, we didn't move up to 640 until 1986.
KTIB, AM 630.
And ironically, based
I say that low. You noticed that.
Based on a conversation we had yesterday, that's the one thing missing in a lot of radio stations today. Nobody sings their call letters anymore.
You don't hear singing jingles anymore.
No,
it was really refreshing. I really liked it. Yeah.
And we're going to listen to some more, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just wanted to break in because the style, and like you were saying, it matched the music. It matches the music really that the oldies that we're playing.
Right, and it's really unique because nowadays, even at the music stations, all they do is usually hire an in-house staff announcer to say, you're listening to the call letters, and they're playing instrumental music in the background. But it's not a true singing jingle like we used to hear forever, at least through the mid-'80s. You know, so it's...
we do have one singing jingle.
We do.
That's right. Home Alive, hosted by Al Carter.
Oh, yeah.
See, so we bring that thing back.
Yeah, and and best of all, it's more of a longer song because we're introducing a whole show.
See that?
You know, I mean, hey, look how many television shows, network television shows don't really have a theme song anymore because the networks want to squeeze in as much commercial time as possible. Right. You know, so you're absolutely right on that. Never thought about it that way.
You know, I was watching, and not to change the subject, so hold on to your thought. I was watching the other day one of the shows on television, right? And I've been working out. I've been doing the right thing in the gym. And so what I do is I go to the fitness center, and I cut the television on. I have my own television, right? And I was sitting down, and when you're actually walking on the treadmill and watching television, you pay attention to time. Man, there was a commercial break that it must have been almost 10 minutes long.
It's not out of question.
So I could see why.
Oh, yeah, right now, it's a shame. They're making more money per minute than ever on national television advertising. Yeah, but they just want to eat it up as much as they can.
Yeah. So.
Now, these jingle singers, would they have been in the 70s from the Houma Thibodeau area?
No, well, more than likely, it would have been from a service, an out-of-state service. Like me and Al were talking about this yesterday, you still have companies today that, in other words, that's all they do, is do the liners for radio and television stations.
Wow.
So...
Because there's, like you said, it was so many.
Yeah.
And you know, you have to wonder. It's like, wow, that's a lot of investment there.
Sure is.
Because the thing you get to think that nobody local was actually doing that.
Yeah, for the most part that I'm aware of.
And that's true too. I mean, do you think maybe radio stations nowadays think it's too much of an investment?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's all about streamlining.
Right.
You know, so kind of like in the sawmill business. If Daddy tells me not to get any Pepsi because we don't have any change in the drawer, then we have to do without. So.
You want to listen to a couple more?
Yeah, let's hear a little bit more.
Okay, we're trying to...
Which?
KTIB, there is always music. KTIB. KTIB. Most music. KTIB. Most music.
KTIB.
Most music. Thibodeau weather. KTIB. 6:30. KTIB. KTIB. Merry Christmas from KTIB.
Wow.
It brings back memories.
Right.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of when KTIB, I'm sure it still is broadcast in the Civic Center for the walkers. It reminds me of when I was young and would walk with my grandma in the Civic Center. It's so funny.
Well, okay, well, I was checking the phone. The reason why is from 89 to 95, KTIB played easy listening music of the
Right.
40s, 50s, and 60s. It's called The Music of Your Life.
Right, and I remember Oldies But Goodies, KTIB. That
Right.
was one of
Oh,
the...
well, yeah, in 95, Roy Vicknair, I believe, came up with that term. Good times and great oldies.
Times and
Oldies
great
640
oldies,
KTIB.
yeah.
If you want to call in, the number is 447-6409, 447-6409. Bringing back some memories out there, that's for sure.
Don't forget, 985 area code if you're out of the
95,
area.
that's right, that's right.
So, well, I guess we're ready to try some sound bites now, huh, Al?
We're going to do some sound bites. You know what? Let's take a quick break.
Okay.
A quick break. We're not going to be long at all, folks. Let me find my break stuff.
Alrighty. But it's gonna be enjoyable, folks. If you thought we've already had fun with all this great footage you probably haven't heard in over 30 years, stay tuned. There's a lot more fun coming up, so you don't want to miss a moment. And so it's gonna be a whole lot of fun here on 640 AM KTIB.
I'm going to play my my theme that has
There you
a
go.
singing jingle in it.
Sit back and relax. It's Home Alive, hosted by Al Carter.
Don't go too far. We're coming right back, folks. You're listening to Al Carter Live on AM 640 KTIB.
By Al Carter.
It's magic. Cash magic. You gotta feel the magic. Cash magic. Come on, let's play where the games really pay. Cash magic.
Listen closely, because I have some really big news for all you video poker players. Here at the Cash Magic Casino in the Colonel Truck Plaza, we doubled our jackpots. That's right, we've raised our machine's biggest jackpot from $500 to $1,000. So when you win our jackpot, you're now $1,000 richer. $1,000. So come in and win $1,000 right here at the friendliest and most convenient place to play in Thibodaux, your Cash Magic Casino in the Colonel Truck Plaza on West Park Avenue in Thibodaux. Why play anywhere else when you can come win $1,000? $1,000 with us right here at the Cash Magic Casino in the Colonel Truck Plaza. Gambling problem 877-770-STOP.
Cash magic.
Johnny Jambalaya here with my band Cajun Lightfoot. Fly me to the moon, but let me bring my spoon. You are now entering the land of red beans, pralines, Zuzu queens, and a slot machine.
KTIB is proud to announce the return of Soul in Your Bowl. Saturdays. Yeah, he's back and better than ever. Join Johnny Jambalaya Perkle for a fun-filled hour of music, food, and fun as he features the great cooks of South Louisiana. That's Soul in Your Bowl. Saturday morning from 11 to noon on AM 640 KTIB.
Singing Hello, Darling, while stirring the roof for you.
Sit back and relax. It's home alive, hosted by Al Carter.
Welcome back to Al Carter Live on AM 640 KTIB. Questions, comments, give us a call. That number is 985-447-6409. Our guest we have in the studio, we have William Taylor, noted meteorologist, and
apparently somebody needs to use Dristan. But
you all stopped up. And Lauren Lede from the Public Library, Terrebonne Parish Library. Thank you guys for coming by this afternoon. We have someone on the phone. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, Al. Good afternoon. It sure is good to hear you guys on the air again and playing old jingles.
Yeah, this stuff, it brings back so many memories.
Oh, that probably was at least, at the time, I mean, there was no electronic wave file editing. There were singers and musicians in a studio playing the beds, and people were singing over them. It was produced by a company in Dallas that I think is probably still in business that does sweeps and things like that.
Wow. Hey, John Rayner, this is William Taylor. How are you?
William, good afternoon.
Well, I was going to say first, we can't thank you enough for sending that to me. It's really It's really made this anniversary special a really neat special.
Oh, you're welcome. Like I said, I'm glad to hear you guys back on the air, and it sounds really good. And listening over here in Destrehan, and you guys sound real good. I understand you're back at full power, and that's just terrific. I'm looking forward to continuing to listen. And Al, enjoy your show too.
Thank you so much.
And also, John, like I said, it's I know you still have so many good memories of the 5 years you were here. And if my memory's correct, you were one of the few employees that was around for both of the first two ownerships, right?
That's correct. I started, actually, I was a student at Thibodeau High, and in 1972, I was a sophomore, and in the summertime, I got a job there, started there. We had no format. We had a stack of 45s, and you would take whatever came across the AP machine and read it a couple of times an hour and play commercials. It was very, very loose and unstructured. And then, of course, because the station was for sale, a couple of consultants came in from New Orleans and got some new equipment for us, which we desperately needed, as you all probably have in radio well know. I was there the other day in the studio. I saw a lot of the equipment that was put in when that upgrade was done just prior to the sale. And Roy Pugh and I were the only two employees they kept.
Wow. What? And by the way, you're going to be hearing the voice of Roy Pugh in a little bit. Believe it or not, we found some of his segments from the famous turkey shoot contest.
Oh, I love turkey shoot. I played that a lot on the air as well, and it was always fun interacting with the people and the callers and things like that. And when you pick up the phone, it was just, you were live on the air. We didn't have a delay or anything like that. You went out on the air. Mm-hmm. Sometimes with less than stellar consequences.
Right.
In fact, Roy Pugh did that. One of my all-time favorite things was I was working the board and waiting for Roy to call in for a Nichols baseball game from out of state. And Roy, I grabbed the phone in the production room. I patched it through the control room, and I went in and I opened the microphone and I started to say something, and I was on the air, and I really thought Roy understood that, and I said, and we're going to the voice of the Colonels, Roy Pugh, and Roy, what's the holdup in today's game? And he blurted something out, and it was great. And Leroy Martin came in about an hour later. This was a Saturday. Leroy came in holding his sides from laughing.
Wow. Wow, that's incredible.
It was wonderful. But you guys keep it up. I just wanted to call and tell you I'm really enjoying the station being back on the air and enjoying the format. I love live radio. It's a shame there's only 4 or 5 companies that own all the radio stations now.
Well, brother, we're going to give the best we can give out to the community and take care of this community for sure.
All right, my friend. Well, if there's ever anything I can do, please call on me. And William, you too. And listen, William, the reason I did want to call is to remind you to bring the Gene Knobloch Christmas story to the station if you haven't done that already.
Oh yeah, we have, and in fact, we're definitely going to play that, this being the holiday season.
Yeah, Gene was an author, a songwriter, a fisherman, a hunter. He used to do the morning sports report for us, and raconteur, and all around man about town. So we miss Gene, and that's always a good. I always enjoy playing that here at home at Christmas. Merry Christmas, you guys.
All right,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
my
John.
friend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Our friend John Rayner was here from 72 to 77. And if you go to our the website I have, KTIB-Memories.com, if you search on the different pages, John sent me a picture of himself from when he worked here and how different the control room was at the time. So just go check out the website when you can, folks, KTIB-Memories.com.
This is the only building the KTIB has ever been housed in.
This is the third.
This is the third. Okay.
Okay, we'll go ahead and mention that real quick. The first building, the Daily Comet building, was the first building on West 5th.
Okay.
The KTI, you see, one of the original part owners, Ed Jackson, had stake in what was called the Lafourche Comet before it came there. That building used to have a second floor, and that's where KTIB was to start.
Okay.
From 53 to 60. Then from 60 to 67, which you and I know as the Lafourche Sheriff's Administrative Office.
That's right in the
Canal
corner.
Boulevard, West
Right
6.
here in the
That was the
corner,
second
right.
station, because the second location, First Federal Bank Building is what it's called. The back half where you see all those the big glass panes,
Right.
that's where the station was.
Oh, wow.
Ah, okay.
And then in 67, it moved into this building, which originally is the Young Men's Business Club building of Thibodaux. And it's been here since 1967. And
This building adapted so well to a studio.
right,
Oh, for sure.
You know, I
Oh,
mean,
Gibbons,
this is excellent.
our good friend Gibbons Robichaux was listening today. He was asked to help do some research on the building. This building was built in 1845.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, so it is very, very sturdy for its age.
Yeah.
So 1845.
And this is the Young Men's Business
Club of Thibodaux. They used to meet downstairs in the first floor. Once a month, I believe.
Okay.
And that's why this building was built way back when, from what I understand. So, in fact, Thibodaux was established as a community, as an official incorporated town in 1839. So this building is almost as old as the city itself.
Thibodaux, man.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got the magic spaces on it's almost like a game show we have set up here on the computer.
It's really neat, huh?
Right. And, well, anyway, we got 20, I don't know if we can get to all of them, but...
We'll get a little extended time.
Yeah,
we'll
thank you.
right.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. I'll tell you what we'll do. Since John mentioned it, if you can scroll down to number 17 where it says Gene Knobloch's Christmas story, this is about 3 minutes long, folks. For people, like you just said, Mr. Knobloch worked here throughout the 70s doing sports and hunting and fishing. Sadly, he left us around 1980. And but this originally aired in 74 and 75. It is the Gene Knobloch's, I believe it's Cajun Night Before Christmas, if my memory's correct. And it tells the story of if there was a Cajun Santa Claus, I guess you can say is the basic theme to this soundbite.
And he wrote this himself?
Yes, and produced it and everything. So and it hasn't aired here in quite a while. But so folks, if you're nostalgic about Thibodaux, this is going to be a neat little gem just in time for the Christmas season. And
also, I wanted to tell before Linda left, she wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be playing Christmas music all day Christmas Eve and until about 3 o'clock on Christmas Day.
Okay.
You can hear a lot of the liners that we just heard.
All right.
Throughout the day. So I want you to listen to them. Okay, this is it. You ready?
Yeah, let's try this. So we got there.
Okay.
The Buddha was hung by the...
Okay.
'Twas the night before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Not a sound could be heard, except Tom Basilien, who was stuffing the bird. The Buddha was hung by the chimney with care, in hope that not feel bad would leave him right there. The children were covered real warm in their bed, with visions of Graton right up to their head. Mama was in her kerchief and me in my cap. I just got back from setting the traps. When out on the bayou, the sound of a frog. I jumped out of the bed and I stepped on the dog. Away to the window, I flew like a bat and I tore open my breeches and I threw out the cat. The coon on the branch of the old acorn tree, he gave a grunt and a holler, and he looked back at me. And I looked for a place for my poor head to lay when I spied an old man in a beat-up Model A. With a little old driver so lively and fast, the pig jumped in the ditch just to let him go past. More faster than beagles his car had become, that it skidded and turned and spun and then some. Now Boudreaux and Fontenot and Hébert, hey, hey, I come here tonight and I got something to say. To the top of the levee, through the gate, through the barn, the car didn't stop till it passed through the corn. As the dry leaves before the hurricane fly, he jumped out of that car with a great big black eye. It was Nug Zed, as excited as could be, that he jumped over the fence and he ran straight to me. He couldn't catch his breath and he was sweating and hot, and I thought in a flash he'd drop dead on the spot. But he told me a tale about a little old man who drove through the sky just as fast as he can. He was dressed all in red with whiskers of white, and Nug Zed swore that he saw him that night. He said he kept hollering ho-ho in his sled, but I thought that my Nug Zed was losing his head. I was about to start laughing and kid Nug Zed back, but all of a sudden I froze in my track. The sound of a tinkle came loud to my ear, and I grabbed Nug Zed and I started to fear. Sure enough, he was there, real low in the sky, and I couldn't believe it with my very own eye. As fast as I could, I run for my life straight to the house to go tell my wife. But when I got there, everything was all done. On the floor, the kids all having some fun. T. June had a bike. Nanette had a doll. Philippe had a boat. But that was not all. My Marie had a dress, real pretty and pink, and me a shotgun. Now what do you think? I ran to the door to see what I'd find, but all I heard was, "Y'all pass a good time." Now, I know y'all all laugh, you daddies and maws, when I tell you they got a Cajun Santa Claus, but you'd better believe the story I tell if you're gonna pass. Hush while you're away.
Now that was rich.
That's the
That was incredible.
Mr. Gino Block, and like I said, it's been quite a while since we heard that on the station, and
he wrote that himself.
yeah, I think everything was arranged by him.
Oh, wow. That's so...
And so
There's so much talent and so much worth right there.
That's
you know?
right.
Oh, that's incredible.
Wow.
Oh, someone like that needs to be preserved, and
That's kind of
that's
stuff.
incredible.
You know, and that's
amazing.
That's the one thing that we talk about archiving and
Yeah.
and for the kids to hear it, and for the kids to know who they are, where they came from, and to appreciate what we have.
And just to make us feel good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean that.
And I think we haven't heard that in probably
at least 20 years here at the station.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, just a lot of neat stuff that I was digging up along the way. Well, tell you what, let's, looking at the screen here, why don't you scroll up for a minute, and what we're going to do is, I'm trying to, tell you what, play number 2, because this is the 1997 Fireman's Fair, and one of our part owners at the time, Mr. Jimmy Buquet, who just passed away earlier this year, was the Grand Marshal. And on here, you will hear the voices of 4 of the most famous employees that we had here at KTIB. Of course, Mr. Buquet, part owner. Another one of his partners, Mr. Raymond Sadie, is in this clip of the Fireman's Fair of '97, along with Marie Bageron, who hosts the dialogue. Okay. And Mr. Block, Mr. F.H. Block himself is interviewed because he was the Grand Marshal in 1953.
Wow, okay.
So 4 famous voices we're about to hear coming up. And it's about to pop up, I believe. There'll be a little hiss in there, but that's how the tape came initially. Then.
And let me walk over here. And so when you found out who the Grand Marshal was, total stranger, how did you feel?
Well, I was quite surprised to find out that it was my good friend Jimmy Buquet. And he, I must say, kept his counsel. He would not admit it, even after I knew it was him. He still would not admit it. So anyway, we're delighted to know it was he. And we were just at a little pre-parade party, and Jimmy is really looking good. I can't wait to see him on the horse.
He is a most gracious Grand Marshal, but he said it wasn't hard for him to keep it secret because he's not known for being...
He doesn't talk much.
That perfect stranger is Raymond Sadie, Executive Vice President and General Manager of KTIB.
I did one of these, Marie. We started back about in 1955, I'd say, did our first broadcast of a parade, Fireman's Parade. Remember that? That's 40, never mind, long time ago.
Most of these people don't even know what 40-something years is. The E.D. White Band, no, they weren't. To the Grand Marshal, and he is fabulous. The horse is fabulous. That horse is jerking, Jimmy. Mr. Grand Marshal, how does it feel now?
Well, it feels just great. It's a beautiful day, and we're going to have a great ride, and I'm very excited. It's super. Just fantastic. Thank you.
And you are super. We're not going to keep you any longer. We'll get out of the way. The 1997 Grand Marshal, Jimmy Buquet. James J. Jimmy Buquet. But we want to talk to a past Grand Marshal who knows a lot about this fire department, and that was a few years ago that you were Grand Marshal.
Well, I'm not ashamed to say that I go back, I was a Grand Marshal in 1953, so that's a long time ago. This is a beautiful day, and Jimmy Buquet made a fine Grand Marshal, and we certainly are thankful that a large crowd has come out to view the parade and will come to the fair. And let's everybody join together and say, let's have a big day today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. F.H. Block.
Wow. Now that goes back a little bit.
Man, you could hear, Lauren was commenting, you could hear the music in the background and the excitement of the parade. That's some good stuff, Wade.
That is really good stuff.
Well,
that's rich.
Well, like I said, when the station had closed down, you know, I had gone through a lot of cassettes and stuff. I put them back, of course, and I was worried about a lot being not around anymore because, well, I don't want to go through that whole thing, but I just got concerned. So I wanted to save all that I could because this station to me has been too good to me as a person and a listener, even long before I became affiliated here. And the history of this city, especially in broadcasting, is too much. After all, KTIB has been here since '53. And I'll go ahead and say this because I didn't plan on saying this. But did you know KTIB had a sister FM station for a while?
I just recently found that out.
Yeah, it was called KTIB-FM 106.3, which is other call letters now. And it was started in March of '66 as a 3,000-watt FM station. Its purpose was, see, at the time, through '86, before we moved up on the AM frequency dial, KTIB was only sunrise to sunset. The FM station allowed KTIB to stay on through midnight on the FM signal. So as a result, and plus FM's a little bit clearer overall in terms of output.
That's true.
Because for people who don't know physics, the FM signal goes straight from the tower to your radio. The AM signal has to propagate off the ionosphere before coming to your signal. That's why you can pick up lightning on AM more than you can on FM. If you ever noticed that before. Well, anyway, and the FM station 106.3, it was sold. What happened was in '73, when Mr. Block and his partnership decided to sell to Mr. Sadie and his partnership, the FCC at the time said that you could only own no more than 2 radio stations in one market. Well, Mr. Sadie and them had already been very successful with 104.1 KHOM in Houma. So they had, and because Mr. Sadie worked here at KTIB from '55 to '67, he really wanted this AM station. So they basically had to divest themselves of 106.3 as soon as they could. And they did in '73, and that's why it became other call letters and moved to Ridgefield Road in Thibodaux. So which is, of course, that station's now in Houma. So so that's the little brief history of our sister FM station we had for 6 years.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, next on the old docket, let's go ahead and have fun with Al. From 2005.
Well, I'm not going to be embarrassed, am I?
No, but this is a little comedy skit y'all had with yourself, our friend Jason Lee, as the foreign guy, and Rockin' Randall was there, and you got a good call from your friend Sister Agatha. And the hilarity broke out, because the foreign guy needed Sister Agatha's help on a certain issue with his home country. So that's the next little bite.
It was get kind of silly doing Mardi Gras.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Not way out there, but it was definitely silly at times. Because like my quote, one day you and I were doing the parade and to fill time, I asked you, how come nobody plays Glenn Campbell music on the floats anymore? So I hope Lauren remembers who Glenn Campbell is. But
I don't remember, but I know.
No, well, thank you.
Right.
Oh.
Not to rub it in.
And here we go.
All righty. Let's take a listen here, folks.
Oh, this is a caller. Go ahead, caller, you live on Al Carter Live, KTIB Live, Carnival Live.
Y'all crazy. Something wrong with y'all. Y'all crazy.
Hey, Sister Agatha, how you do?
I'm here, baby. I'm here. I do good now. Yeah. I'm doing it right. Getting my groove back. You know, like, what's her name? What's her name got a groove back?
Stella,
yeah.
Stella got a groove. All right now, Sister Agatha. Sister Agatha. You got a groove back with a young man now.
I'll be getting my groove back with a bunch of them good-looking suckers. Oh, baby. Look, anything it take, I'm going to get it back.
Sister Agatha, I am very, very glad you called. This is the foreign guy.
Who are you?
I am the foreign guy. I am glad you called because...
You sound like an idiot.
I need you...
You sound. I don't know.
I
don't know about this.
I will ignore your rude comments. I need you to come to our country, and I need you to bless our economy.
Why don't you get Carter to do that?
Well,
you get the Carter family go out there, and Al Carter can bless your country, and the Mrs. Al Carter can sing for the country.
Yes, but do they know the dridgery like you do?
I don't know.
No, we don't do Greek.
I'm from New Orleans.
We don't do I need you to come and bless our economy, because our only gas station has closed now.
Oh, what I got to do with that? I ain't got no gas. I took some Pinot.
But I was told that you were a smelly woman.
That don't matter.
Watch out for a guy. Watch out for a guy.
You be smelling bad, too. You sat on Bourbon Street all day and all night making 50 cents a customer.
All right, now, Sister Agatha, calm down now. I know
Something wrong with that, boy. I'm telling you.
You making Sister Agatha upset. She got the powerful Greek.
I am sorry, crazy psychic woman.
Oh, shaka khan.
I am sorry, crazy psychic woman. Please forgive me for my transgression.
Boom, shakalaka, boom, shakalaka.
Oh, I just heard something shake. Poor guy, apologize quickly.
I am sorry, crazy woman.
Sister Agatha, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. Oh, you done did it for a guy. You done did it for a guy. Apologize quickly.
I am sorry.
She done hung up, man.
Oh. Why am I growing extra tall? This is not right.
What the fuck? Randall. His foot is starting to get larger. His toe's starting to grow, man. I can't help you, man. His nose had to start to get down to his lip. I can't help you, man.
I was doing in this hand. Well, I thank her because now I will be even sexier in my country. Because toes are seen as a symbol of manhood, and now I have 11.
You have an extra big toe.
Yes.
That makes you the man, doesn't it?
It's kind of pretty. But I'm going to have to paint it the same color as all the rest.
I don't know, Randall. I think things are digressing real quick.
There's something about live radio.
Right.
And to think that none of us was drinking that day.
Right. Ironically, I was homesick. Like I told you off the air, I decided to record the broadcast because I didn't know what was going to be said with all this unrehearsed stuff.
And that was the beauty of it, and the beauty of live radio is most of it's unrehearsed. Not all of it's unrehearsed. We don't rehearse anything. We just go for the go. And a lot of times in carnival parades, I think what happens is you have the break between parades, you got the break between the floats, and you're standing around, and you don't want to lose your audience. You don't want to lose your audience, so you just start getting kind of nuts.
And I think, I'll say this real quick, is that one reason why we had a lot of time to kill some years is because literally one block up the street from the station was the Mayor's Review stand.
That's right.
And that's where the king and the queen would go use the bathroom. I mean, not in the stand, but nearby. But anyway. The way politics is, I don't know. But no, but we had a lot of time to kill during that stoppage.
And so we just used some bits.
Right. Yeah. So that was something else. Well,
things you do while you wait.
That's right. Yeah.
Now, both on and off the air.
An idle mind is the devil's workshop.
That's right.
All right. Well, you know, both on and off the air, we're talking about archives. What we're about to play, number 4 from 1954. This is a 3-minute clip from the first year of KTIB, the first 12 months of the station. This was from the mayor's race of 54. Mr. Leonard J. Toops, who ran an insurance agency in our fair city for many years. He was a 4-term mayor, and this is when he was trying to run for the first time, and it includes a couple of his political jingles that he used.
Oh, really?
At the time. So you'll be hearing that. I think our friendly Roy Martin sang on some of them, and with his singers as well. So stay back and enjoy, folks. You'll be hearing this from the first year of KTIB's broadcast time.
And this stuff has not been heard in about...
we did play it during the anniversary series in 03, but prior to that, no, it hadn't been heard in 40-plus years.
Okay. Yeah, right?
Here we go.
In closing, my friends, may I remind you that I am still number 3 on the voting machine, the same independent candidate that entered the race on August the 8th. May I ask you to weigh my qualifications and my desire to serve you, and then go to the polls and cast your ballot for a mayor who possesses business judgment, political experience, and the courageous leadership necessary to bring about the proper development of our city. Let's not be confused by the tactics of the opposition. Let's not be misled by the last-minute rumors and wild stories of this political machine. And above all, my friends, don't lend your pot to this political machine to cook your goose. This talk will be rebroadcast on Friday, October the 29th at 10 minutes after 5 in the afternoon. Ask your friends to listen. And remember, shake that tree. Let's be free by voting for number 3. Thank you very much, my friends, for listening.
This is the city, Thibodaux, Louisiana, Tuesday, November 9th, 1954, 6 a.m. The voters are beginning to be free. They're shaking that tree. They're voting for number 3. Tuesday, November 9th, 1954, 8:30 p.m. The voters are now free. They all voted for number 3. Here are the facts.
Power politics has ended.
Councilmanic form of government.
Reconsideration of electric rates. Industrial development.
A bigger and better Thibodaux.
A new era has begun. Leonard J. Toops, your mayor.
Did he get elected?
Yes, 4-term mayor.
Wow.
My memory's correct, and that's where it started right here, back in during the '54 campaign for the mayor's race. So
that's some interesting, using what was that, Dragnet?
That was Dragnet.
You know what's really weird? If you have to wonder, and it sounds a little naive and maybe, but if KTIB hadn't been here, would it have changed? Because he wouldn't have been able to advertise like he just, like he did. And
I'm going to tell you, the time that we were off air recently, folks would run into me in the mall. I'd get phone calls and all that kind of stuff. When y'all coming back on, we missed the station.
Right.
But a lot of times people missed the upcoming events. And I'll be honest with you, we were off air. Well, Gene used to, and he still does, and talks about what's coming up on the weekend and different meetings and stuff like that. Normally, I don't have time to do as much in the afternoons, but I listen to Gene to find out what's coming up. And I missed a lot of functions and parties and stuff when we were off there because of that. So, leading into what you're saying, you know, it would have been hard to advertise.
You're not touching an audience.
Yeah, you should, in the newspaper,
right.
And I mean, mail outs probably were not as popular. But what other stations did we have in Thibodeau at the time?
Well, none.
Exactly.
So I mean, what could you have done? It may have changed.
Yeah, this is incredible. It's so
Well, think about it.
and-
I mean, television actually helped a first-term presidential candidate, John F. Kennedy,
Right.
beat
the
Richard Nixon,
the debate.
who had experience and had a record. Kennedy didn't have a record as much as Nixon did, but the debate was aired.
Exactly.
And Nixon, I mean, you can't compare looking at Nixon and looking at John F. Kennedy.
Right.
You know, God rest both their souls, but Nixon was not a pretty boy. And then he was sweating, he was nervous.
Yeah.
It came across.
Right.
So television actually assisted him get elected. So chances are this did help.
Wow. That's just true. Well, next on the list, we'll go to number 5. This was one of the most frequent theme songs we ever used at KTIB. For many decades, on Sunday mornings, we aired the Sensational Southern Tones gospel program. Unfortunately, I believe it was early this year, Mr. Freddie Williams, who was a member of the group, had passed away. But every Sunday morning, they became a staple at the station. Almost from the first week, the station was on the air. And the Southern Tones was really an interesting part of our station all the way through 1999.
Yesterday we had
Mr. Clark,
Reverend Clark was on Wednesday, and he had mentioned the Southern Tones.
Right, well...
He was a part of that group.
Well, in 2003, when we did the anniversary series, we interviewed him, Johnny Barrett, Freddie Williams, and Mr. Ray Robinson, who were all part of the group. And great stories about all the folks they've known and sang for over the years. So what we're about to hear is the intro, the full 3-minute intro to their regular Sunday morning program.
Reverend Clark has reels with Southern Tone stuff on it. We need to get with him and put and archive some of that stuff.
And we'll have to do that one day, definitely. And hopefully my reel-to-reel player will fit it. So let's go ahead and go back to one of the most frequent Sunday morning staples in KTIB history, ladies and gentlemen, the Sensational Southern Tones intro.
Let me
impressed. And I think that sounded like Reverend Clark leading.
Right.
It
leading
did,
the
didn't it?
I just want to remind you folks, this Saturday, 1117 President Street, they will be dedicating the Reverend Lloyd Wallace Museum at Mount Zion Church, and Reverend Clark's going to be there. So it should
And I didn't want to forget to mention the gentleman who also did some announcing for their show for years, Mr. Raymond Ellis, who passed away around 1999. I interviewed his wife for the 50th anniversary series as well. And yeah, it's just it was wonderful talking to those gentlemen 4.5 years ago when we put the 50th anniversary series together. And by the way, all those interview folks are still at KTIBmemories.com. And I tell you what, we mentioned in Lauren in the library. I'll go ahead and mention this now. I'm thinking about it. If any school teachers or principals are listening out there in the Lafourche-Terrebonne area, if you're ever interested in having your kids doing reports about the history of this radio station, tell them to go to that website, KTIBmemories.com. We got some text on there and a ton of interviews of people that made this radio station great. And it'll make a good, interesting report. Of course, the kids now are screaming in the car because now they may have a new assignment at the first of the year.
That's right.
But it's great educational stuff about what radio is all about.
You know, this radio was so implemental, too, in, I know that all junior high and high school students have to take Louisiana history as a core requirement. And having gone to school here in town and taking Louisiana history, KTIB was such an asset for reports on Hurricane Betsy, on certain elections, certain
the elections,
right, you know, happenings and going-ons at Nichols. So, I mean, you know, not just the folks here and what went on here, but what was covered, you know, by the DJs, and it was just excellent.
Wow. Well, next, we're going to go to number 10, right under the spot we just played. We were very fortunate here at KTIB for 8 years to carry one of the greatest statewide radio programs of all time, Louisiana Live, which featured Jim Inkster and then later Don Grady as host. Jeff Palermo did the sports hour. And unfortunately, another bit of bad news, the gentleman's voice that you're going to hear first on this segment, Mr. Ricky Stockner, passed away earlier this year in January. Only 44 years old.
Wow.
From long-term health problems that he had since he was 17. And Ricky was always very, very encouraging to me in my career and all the little bits of humor that we used to do on the show. So for the next minute and a half, and I think it's long overdue that we heard his voice again on radio, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a 1.5-minute segment of Louisiana Live, and maybe the caller you hear with Don Grady might sound a little familiar. So let's hear it.
Welcome to Louisiana Live, the statewide meeting place for newsmakers and you. If you'd like to take part in today's program, pick up the phone, dial us toll-free. Our number is 1-800-673-5555. Once again, that toll-free number, 800-673-5555. Now here's your host, Jeff Palermo.
And thanks a lot, Ricky Stockner. Good afternoon, Louisiana. Since Ricky isn't here today, I'm going to make you our mentalfloss.com victim. Okay. In what computer-animated 2001 movie did two characters have to make their way across a rickety bridge over a lava lake? Ice Age, Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., or Shrek?
I'll say Monsters, Inc.
Shrek is the correct answer. First lava lamps. You know, they're making a comeback. Have you seen them?
Yes, I have.
Were marketed in England under what brand name? Astrolamp, Motion Ocean, Liquid Light, or Brighty Blob?
I'll say Liquid Light.
I had picked Motion Ocean, and Astrolamp was the correct answer.
Okay.
Hey, we did well on that one, William.
Oh, yeah, can't wait to beat the guy on Jeopardy who's won for 29 days.
These candidates really needed to deliver a knockout punch to Jindal, and he was still standing at the end of the debate.
Now, there we have it.
That voice did sound familiar, Rick.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, they were desperate for ratings that day. They needed somebody. But anyway, I just had to mention Louisiana Live because Jim Inkster, I first became a regular on his show back September of 99.
Okay.
And stayed on until it signed off 7 years later. Of course, Jim left in 2004 to go to Public Radio of Baton Rouge, their affiliate, and now he's back at Louisiana Network as their general manager.
Oh, really?
Don Grady is now at the famous WJBO in Baton Rouge doing news. Let's go ahead and go to number 9, Turkey Shoot. And what we'll do is, Al, because this one goes on forever, we'll play maybe a couple, 3 segments of Turkey Shoot. What you're going to hear, folks, is Roy Pugh's voice. A caller would call in and ask what weapon they want to use to try to shoot the tooth. Shoot the tooth. I passed to Charles Nelson Riley. Anyway, to shoot the turkey with.
The podcast won't have you mistaken.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm sure this is not going out live either, but what we're going to do is if you called in, you either had to pick a rifle, a machine gun, or a cannon to shoot the turkey. And depending on what weapon you picked at that turn would decide if you were going to win the turkey or not. Now, the weapon would go off, and if you heard the sound of a turkey gobble shortly after, then you won the turkey. If you heard another barnyard animal, then you didn't win anything. So we're going to hear a couple of segments of that. Because, like I said, I have all the versions, but we'd be here forever if we played all the possibilities with each weapon. So we'll go ahead and do that next. A couple of the events from Turkey Shoot. That Turkey Shoot reindeer races was popular every Christmas, where all 9 of the famous reindeer would run a mythical race at the North Pole.
Okay.
The announcer would say what the weather conditions were. And after that, people would call in. 3 callers. Each would have to pick a different reindeer. You won a different prize, whether your reindeer came in first, second, or third.
Win, place, or show. Huh?
Win, place, or show. That's right. So, and that's how it worked at the time.
You ready?
All right, let's give it a shot.
Give it a shot for Turkey Shoot. Oh.
Well, this happy hunter is selected to use a machine gun to go on a turkey shoot here on KTIB. Good luck now. Take careful aim. Watch out for the other barnyard animals. And fire at will. Happy Hunter has selected the machine gun to go on a turkey shoot here on KTIB. Take careful aim now. Watch out for the other barnyard animals. And fire at will. This happy hunter has selected the machine gun to go on a turkey shoot on KTIB. Good luck now. Take careful aim. Watch out for the other barnyard animals, and fire at will. This happy hunter has selected a machine gun to go on a turkey shoot on KTIB. Good luck now. Take careful aim. Watch out for the other barnyard animals, and fire at will. Happy Hunter has selected the rifle to go on a turkey shoot in KTIB country. Now, good luck. Take careful aim, watch out for the other barnyard animals, and fire at will.
I don't know, it was kind of violent.
Well, 1978. I guess we weren't as politically correct at the time.
And weren't we a country music station then, too?
Yeah.
With this automatic machine gun shooting turkeys. Oh.
Wow.
Wow. Well, I tell you what. Well, let's calm down. Oh, number 8, we'll be hearing some commercials with some of our favorite voices at KTIB over the years. All of these are commercials involving the Fireman's Fair, the annual Fireman's Fair of Thibodeau. You'll be hearing Roy Vicknair, who did news and hosted a lot of music programs for 40-plus years here at the station. Darren Fotz, who worked here for a good while, did a lot of basketball games for Nichols, a lot of baseball, and assistant basketball coach at Edie White for the ladies, I believe.
Yep.
And I hope I'm pronouncing the gentleman's name. I think the last voice you'll hear in here is a gentleman who worked here in the late 90s. Billy Dutriel, I believe is how it was pronounced. Hard to believe. I haven't met everybody yet that's worked at KTIB, maybe one day. But So a lot of very familiar voices coming up, and you'll be hearing some good background music as well in all these spots for the Fireman's Fair. So let's go back and listen to Roy, to Billy, and to Darren.